You were lucky if you had 18, two of them were keepers, and so you knew there was a nucleus of, you could only play that many, and if you really did need to play and they wanted you to play, cortisone injection, you were out there and you did it. So that group and that camaraderie became unbeatable, and like I say, it just didn't make any difference at all. We didn't even talk about the penalties, but then in the end Steve Hayes would step up and took half a dozen, and that was a hell of a game. Funniest thing ever was, after the game, I got introduced into the director's room, first time and last time, and Roy of the Rovers trophy was there to present me, so I just got 50 goals for the club, and Jim Smith was in there, and as it was being presented to me, he said, yeah, bleep, 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 you little bark. and it was so funny, and after that he came up and he said, no, congratulations to you, he's another lovely man.
Did you ever meet Father Christmas?
Yes, I've met him many times since, yeah. Thank God for Santa. Yeah, and we're not going to talk about the Southend game.
Yes, yeah. Because you still have your waistcoat.
My third year, and that's just, it's surrounded by the club, but it's also something to do with the people here, and it's just a way of just putting my name to it, whatever that means. If it helps a little bit and it brings a tenner in, a very kind gentleman just came up to me, asked for an autograph, and he said, there's £20 for tomorrow. Oh, fantastic, well, that's going to help someone to do something. So, what was the question?
You've never really left this club.
No. I always talk about it. Umbilical cord. It's an umbilical cord. It's very strange, and I could well have been living here for nearly 10 years now if I hadn't met the love of my life again. I went home to Lake Buzzard to look after my mum, who was terminally ill, and after 2 or 3 years of that, she passed away in 2016. And I was coming back to live, and I've got another story about it, about Frank Burrows, if you want it. It's a cracker. And the bottom line is, because Jane and I were first loves, childhood sweethearts, football took me away at 16, and Jane stayed local, married, children, grandchildren. 40 years later, I find out that unfortunately she was getting divorced, and loved the pants off her, and we've been together for 9 years.
I think interesting, we got Bramwell John Deacon's roller there
That's
in
it,
the background as well.
Yeah.
So outside Fratton Park on that famous day, there's a picture of you signing with John Deacon and Bobby Campbell.
Great man.
And we got anybody in the room in that picture?
Wow.
Actually, a few kids outside Fratton Park there with you after signing for Pompey. So what was your memory of that day?
Can't remember it.
There's a few topics there.
I can't actually remember the day I signed, and I'm not sure that was the day I signed, if that makes sense. I remember coming down, watching the game, staying, and really making our minds up between us within minutes, and then it was just a case of silly things like, and it wasn't about money then, as it is now, because it wasn't about, for example, I was on £1,000 a week at Derby in the First Division, but because I saw the step to Everton as I took a £500 drop because I wanted to be there. £500 was a lot of money in 1981, so that gives you an idea. And it was the same coming down, although I got ever so well looked after in every way, because I think coming from First Division to a Third Division, it was a case where I never looked at Pompey as being a Third Division team. Certainly not the whole. You say set up. We didn't have training grounds and that in those days. It was a completely different thing. But the place sold it to me. Fratton Park sold it to me. You guys sold it to me on that one night of being there, watching what the excitement and the fervour and the support, and then those the squad that was playing in that game, you just know I want to be a part of that because we're not going to be here for long. We're going to be up and up. And but I don't remember the day. I don't even remember signing. I think it probably happened the day before that,
Right.
and it was a quiet affair, and they just stuck me out.
Out there for the photo shoot.
Yeah.
Well, say the first game was against Sheffield United. We've got a pic of it here with Mick Tate in the background and a few Sheffield United players around. Scored on your debut.
Yeah, wonderful day, nice conditions, and Sheffield United were one of the favourites. But again, I opened my big mouth and I said, I think we'll win and comfortably and what have you. And on the day, there was Webby, Ernie Howe and myself, who were the new signings. Was it who's the other? Tatey, was it? Who scored the fourth?
Can't remember who scores where, who's Tate in.
Oh, you're losing it.
I am now.
But it was good.
Oh yeah, where are you?
It was just a wonderful start. But again, without it sounding that we were overly full of ourselves, we were so confident. And we never, from minute one, we never thought that anything was going to happen other than we were going to be successful. It actually went in, it broke the net.
I was actually in the upper tier of the Fratton End that day, and on the left hand, and the ball nearly hit me. So,
I was aiming for you.
Anyway, it was a great run-up and Lincoln game, that was a good one.
Well, that's ever so interesting, that one, because I was so nervous for the last 20 minutes of that game, because genuinely you couldn't see the halfway line, and I think the ref would have had every right to be very close to calling it off. And I was in his ear a couple of times. I said, "Ref, you do know I've got hat-trick, don't you? Don't blow it, don't blow it." But yeah, another great night.
Rodgers now swinging it in, and in goes the goal. Alan Biley celebrates his birthday with his 20th goal of the season to put Portsmouth 2-0 in front. Opportunist for the finishing. Just the thing that Biley is doing. There's some determination there. Steve Hazelwood as the corners came on. Ellis, I think it was going to head to it, and then Biley the finishing touch.
Striker's finish, we call that one.
Yeah, that's very pleasing, because early on in my career I was very lucky to be playing with really nice people that were good pros. Things like at Luton, when I'm a 16-year-old boy, and they had a thing where we played against the first team was a mixed match. And does anybody remember a player called Viv Busby?
Yes.
What a lovely man, and a very good striker at several clubs. And he taught me quite a lot of things. And one of the things he taught me was always be on the move. Even if you're walking, never be standing, because to stand, your first move, I don't know if you know this, but if you want to move somewhere quickly, your first move is backwards. And that's stayed with me forever. So if you're on the move, your first move doesn't have to be backwards. If I ask you to say go now, your first move will be backwards to get yourself going. And that stuck with me, and that's a typical, I had this thing that I lingered around the back stick, because I don't know if you noticed, but an awful lot of grounds, they always cambered off of the near post and the far post, and I always noted that if it's coming deep, a keeper will come back, and it might only be 6 inches, but that changes his jump, and he might not even be able to do it, and I got a lot of luck from the back stick. But that's a poacher's goal, and I was even more pleased about that, because it was my birthday. But on the day, I have to say, the special thing again was you supporters. We came along was it the A27 then? I don't think it was an M, was it?
Yeah, A31, May 31's ball, wasn't it? Yeah.
There you go. That one.
Good
And
road knowledge there.
they just kept coming past and coming past and coming past. And then when we went out for the warm-up, I mean, I don't know how many were there on the day, probably 12,000, but 10,000 of them were us.
And actually, about a few weeks later, we played a game at Fratton Park against Cardiff, you might remember. That's a packed North Terrace there, and that was a big promotion game where we kind of drew 0-0, I think, with that. But eventually, obviously, we kind of.
Did Webby miss a penalty?
I don't think he missed a penalty in that one.
You can't.
I think it was a hard-fought 0-0.
Yeah.
By March, the fans of Fratton Park were getting used to seeing their team win. Pompey won 27 games that season.
So that man there is Aidan McCaffrey, and I played with him at Derby, and we had a little laugh.
Outswinger this time, and the header is in. Finally got the last touch. I think it was probably, he was certainly put over the line in the end by Biley, who's injured. Change of tactics here with an outswinging corner for the first time, taken by McLaughlin. Tate's header was a good one, and I suspect it wasn't in until Biley got his header and was kicked at the same time.
So that's got to hurt Alan.
Well, there's all types of brave, and any goal scoring striker will say they'll die to get a goal. They're not so brave outside the park. You know, they're not going to be your Kennedys and your Tates and your Doyles. They'll do the hard work and they'll close down, but they're not going to be the takers and this, that, and the other. That's so funny because when Barry and Gordon came over, the first thing I said, it's my goal, it didn't go over. it didn't go over. And I'm so pleased the cameras were there because I'd be fighting for that goal to this day.
And we've got Barry in the room. What are your memories of that incident?
I remember Alan saying when we picked him up, Gordon shaped to me to come from the dugout, and I went ready to be on the goal, and Gordon had tried to get helped him up. He said, "Where am I?" he wasn't with us.
He was with us, but he knew he scored a goal, and I would agree with you. I definitely want over the line now your goal without a shadow of a doubt.
I'm getting to like you again now.
And we went on another great run. We should have won promotion in this game. This was a game against Dorking, but we ended up drawing 2-2, and it went down that season. We just missed out on relegation, and we kind of missed the chance to win the promotion that day. So it took it on to the next game.
Alan Biley soon recovered. He scored 22 league goals that season.
Rescued him, and here's the next corner.
On the forward pitch, I think.
Celebrations all around the park.
That was typical of a lot of the goals that I scored, and that's what I mean about also the camber. In the look at the defender, he can't get off the deck because he's come back a little bit, and you can see how it's such a difficult thing. If you know you're going to tread off of a floor that's flat, but then the next time you go back, that's 6 inches down, you are not going to get the purchase. And I'm coming on knowing what's happening, and I'm timing it, and I'm always going to beat him, whether he's 6'6" or 2'3".
Exactly, that was a great goal, memorable one, and you ended up being player of the season at the end of that season as well. I mean, what did it feel like to be player of the season at the end of the season?
I knew nothing about it. wait. I knew nothing about it until we were just about to run out, and Bobby Campbell said, son, come back. I said, what's the matter, Gav? What have I done? I wasn't out this week, what have I done? And he said, no, you've got to play in here. And he shook my hand and gave me a hug, and he said, well done, son. He said, you thoroughly deserve it. And as is my want, I am an emotional guy. And was that a Walsall game?
The Walsall game, yeah.
And we didn't win it, did we?
1-0, we won that one.
1-0, yeah. 1-0, but it wasn't a great game, and I was caught up in the emotion. You know, I really so honoured to get that. It's, you know, it can only happen to one person every year.
But there was this goal again at Plymouth, so that's just the ball going in the back there. That was a pitch by Murray Sanders.
I was very pleased with that goal. I got across the near post and hit it well, but look at the short sleeves.
I think later on we're actually going to be having an auction for a photo of Alan celebrating after that goal. So if you want a chance for a brilliant piece of memorabilia, that's going to be.
But again, we took thousands and thousands that day.
So we got any questions on that 82-83 season? Any kind of people want to pick up?
Yes, I was offside if I get it, but he kept running through. This was a tough goal for me. This is the hardest one I ever got. I don't miss from there. But that was typical of that year, where we just had so much options going forward. I've always liked John Watson. Yes, indeed.
So we also played Southampton that year as well. So I'm not going to dwell on this one honestly, but you had a chance near the end.
I had two chances. The header was the miss. I pride myself on that's my surprise package. I'm just under 5'9", I'm shrinking. But I was really deceiving in the air. I was a good header of all. And what happened, this meant so much to me, as it does to everybody. I put too much into the header. I just overexcited, put too much into the other one. It came across me and I took it really well, and I'm really slightly off balance and I volleyed it over the bar. That's a half chance. I made it into a chance, but the header was a chance, and gutted. Even to the last minute, I thought we could go back to their place and beat these, because we did play off the park on the day. That's the worst memory I've had. Horrible, hate it. I just think it was a case of all I wanted to do was play, and I wanted us to be successful, and I wanted to score goals, and it wasn't a selfish act. I just think everybody in the side ran their socks off, and we all had jobs to do, and I took the responsibility of the hardest thing ever and stick it in the onion bag, and I lived for that. And it's a great start, and although it might look like things are rosy for me at the start of the season, I'm arriving back from Portland, from what's been said, and I'm already in training, and even at this stage I'm hearing little, and I just get on with it.
But on 8th of December, Biley's not for sale. That was the official line at the time, and then of course a couple of weeks later. You captured it in that TV commentary, didn't it? Really.
Well, I'm still goosebumps because I'm living it, and I didn't want to say it. listen to that, you know. And the goal is typical of, again, what I was saying, back stick, I'm a standing jump, but I know where I am. The defender that's just half a foot behind is a little bit, and he I think he was shot and it might have been 6'6", you know, but don't make any difference.
But things were kind of going awry. 29th of January, Arsenal move again, and this time it's going to be, according to this report here by Mike Neeson, it's going to be accepted. But there was one final hurrah. I don't know if you remember that game. It's against Oldham.
No.
You scored. Do you know the striker is in the middle? It's Dave Bamba. So you actually scored a couple of goals in that game against Oldham, sort of just before you moved to Brighton.
Well, the funny thing, I don't know exactly, but I think probably my last 3 or 4 home games, I notched 2 each game. Again, it just astonishes me that a manager would want to get rid of a striker with that ratio going into a season where we're looking for a promotion.
But he did. He did. So that was the day you left for Brighton, £50,000 this weekend. And obviously you scored a few goals for Brighton as well. There's one with Terry Connor there, and you mentioned him already. But that was kind of, as you say, it sort of took a lot out of you, kind of leaving Pompey at that time. But you talk about that umbilical cord in that way, the fact that you
Yes.
kind of feel linked to the club. And obviously we felt the same way about you. And obviously in 2012, you're inducted into the Pompey Hall of Fame, right? Which is a fantastic achievement in that way. What did it feel like to be inducted into the Hall of Fame of the football club?
Well, I've already said that Pompey's in my heart and it's my team. I'd already had the biggest honour ever to get a Player of the Year, and the accolades that come along with that. But then to be inducted to a Hall of Fame and to be such an early recipient of it, when you know the history of the club and the greats, the real greats that have played here, pride doesn't say it, absolutely astounded, so happy, so humble with it. It's just one of the most magnificent things that can happen to a footballer is to be enrolled into a Hall of Fame, and I'm very lucky that this is one of 2 clubs that I've been enrolled with it, and it says I haven't done something too bad, and the other is that it's a glue that will stick with me, with Pompey, for the rest of my life.
And just to kind of your cult hero status is assured as well, and we've got some footage here that I don't think it's been seen very widely in public. I think you might have seen it before, but this was done about 10 years or so ago for an event at the King's Theatre, and it was never actually used. It's from our Pompey friends down under.
This is Pompey down under, down on Alan Biley Island in Western Australia. Hope you're having a great night there with all the ex-players in the Hall of Famers. A little bit about us. Chris, the chairman's going to have a word.
Yeah, there you go. Chris Cornell of WA. We done a lot of work here. We had chairs bought by several members out here and a couple of syndicates, and glad we had a little bit of help the club keep going, and we're having good times over the Ellison family now. About Pompey. So, once a year, we'll come down here and barbecue. We'll also play golf when we can, and just have to watch the games and genuinely have a good time. So,